Town Bank Mortgage, NMLS number 512138, is an equal housing lender. This podcast is for informational purposes only. And now, the man born with a 5 o'clock shadow and with the NMLS number 2028-201. He is a gentleman. He is a scholar. He is
Tyler Cralle.
All right, so I'm hoping this isn't going to bite me in the butt. I am recording this way earlier. Like, we still have, 2 hours until the bond market closes. Anything can happen. But it's been a crazy Wednesday, a lot going on in the evening when I usually record, and I can't do that today. So here we are. I'm going to see if this holds. I'm just so worried because rates are down. I mean, it's been a great day for bond yields. Good day for mortgage rates. And I'm like, I know I'm going to do this podcast and video. And then when things calm down later Wednesday night, I'm going to be like, oh, everything I said is now wrong. Because everything, like something crazy is going to happen. I just know it. All right. Welcome, everyone. Wilmington Mortgage. It is the Thursday edition of Wilmington Mortgage. I am the aforementioned host of this podcast, Tyler Cralle, loan officer, Town Bank Mortgage, right here in Wilmington, North Carolina, where we break down top stories impacting mortgage rates every single day, weekday. Unless, of course, sick, on vacation, or Zilly Festival week. I mean, I'm making the time today to get this podcast done. Mostly because if rates were bad, I probably would have been like, nah, I don't need to do it. But, yeah, so we have... The 10-year is down almost 10 basis points. The 10-year is almost below 4.4%. So, I mean, yesterday we just eclipsed 4.5% for the first time since earlier in June. And now we're on the cusp of breaking 4.4%. So right now, just over 9 basis points. And then Mortgage News Daily has a 30-year fixed rate down 10 basis points. So almost a double, possibly a double-digit day for both. We will see. Once again, 2 hours to close, so things could change. And we will see. But why is this happening? Well, I was a little surprised by it because we talked about the reason why. I mean, so we have oil prices falling, which they have been, and more activity in the Strait of Hormuz. But that was all happening on Tuesday and even Monday. In fact, we talked about it on yesterday's show that the Monday data was showing more activity in the Strait of Hormuz. So, like I said, I'm a little surprised that all of a sudden, and sometimes I think a lot of, because here's the thing. I'm all over the place. I'm, like I said, but like a chicken with my head cut off right now. No one knows what rates are going to do. All right. We all make projections. We all do it. We have no idea. Right? We have no idea. But what I think is really funny is that sometimes I think we don't really know why rates fall. So we like retroactively go back and be like, well, yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. Because like I said, we were well aware. Monday, we were seeing more activity in the Strait of Hormuz. Same thing on Tuesday. So why on Wednesday do rates fall? I mean, sure, the oil prices are down again. Yeah, but they were down much more significantly. We had gotten back to that sort of pre-war price. And then all of a sudden, so I'll be honest, I don't think we really know. For some reason, the bond market just felt better about things. Sometimes that happens. And we all got to feel like we got to justify what we do. And so we come up with a reason. We're like, this is why. But like I said, the arguments that are being made, like, oh, this is because oil prices are falling and there's more. All of that was happening this week. It happened on Monday and it happened on Tuesday. So why on Wednesday? Now, okay, maybe you could say, all right, well, maybe it happened on Monday, so it didn't happen on Tuesday because they didn't know if it was going to continue because of the back and forth that we've seen with these negotiations. Maybe they were going to shut the strait down. Maybe we were going to see less ship activity, so no one wanted to jump the gun and say, okay. But I don't know. I mean, so what, 2 days is confident? But hey, listen, I'll take it. We will take it. Oil prices falling. Actually, I haven't even looked at where oil prices are. I mean, we're about to briefly dipped below $70. But like I said, I mean, we're still not back. I mean, we saw oil prices last week were at $90 and ended the week in the mid 70s. And yet that didn't cause rates to fall. So I don't know. I'm not, and equity markets are up. So it's like everything's kind of, everyone's buying. They're buying bonds. They're buying equities. They're buying Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin doing? Let's see. Let's see if they're buying Bitcoin. No, they're not. Oh my God. Bitcoin's under 60,000, huh? They are not buying Bitcoin. Oh my gosh. It's like the only thing they're not buying today. I mean, they're buying bonds. Oil prices are falling. Oh, well, actually, the markets have come back a little bit. Dow's up 240 points. But actually, I'm sorry, I correct myself. See, this is what happens when I'm in a rush. S&P is actually down about a quarter point, and the NASDAQ's down almost 3/4 of a point. So they're not buying equities. I stand corrected. But they are buying bonds. Are they buying gold? Nope. No, gold's down too. So actually, you know what? Let's reverse everything and go back and say, I don't know, maybe it's a flight to equities. I mean, you're just not seeing as big of a drop as we had seen. Prices were up earlier, so we're kind of all over the place right now. Just like me, markets are all over the place. But yeah, it's a good day. Oil prices are down. So inflation fears, I guess, are moderating, which is helping rates. So almost a double-digit day. All right. Besides that, and hopefully it'll stand up. One of the other big stories was President Trump was going to do a signing ceremony for this bipartisan housing bill that passed overwhelmingly in both chambers. Don't say that very often anymore. And all of a sudden, now listen, I have my problems with the bill. I think it's a good bill. A lot of people are pointing out that, the problem that we have is that a lot of the issues that we deal with regards to housing and home building, which is what this bill deals with, is those are local issues that the federal government can't do anything about, which I'm actually happy with. I mean, I'm a believer in federalism. I like that the federal government doesn't control everything. And so there are things the state controls. The state is sort of end all be all when it comes to decisions. But usually it's state, local government. And so that's why I'm not entirely against the state telling some local governments they can't do what they want to, because that's, once again, not how our system is set up. At least in North Carolina, the cities and municipalities exist at the pleasure of the state. They get charters that the state gives them. The state is the ultimate power for both local and federal government. And so that's where the real power lies. So the federal government can, kind of bribe places. Hey, have better regulations. Maybe you'll get more federal money and things like that. But they really can't do anything because those regulations are local. So a lot of builders were like, this is a good bill. It's going to encourage home building, but it doesn't necessarily solve the problem. Also, it bans institutional investors from buying homes, which they classify as anyone that owns more than 350 homes, which, I mean, I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm not an institutional investor. I don't work for one. I don't really, care one way or the other, but the idea that this is some sort of major issue, it's not true. There was a report by Parcel Labs that found, I have the data here. Make sure I get it right. This is, all right, according to data from Parcel Labs, I'm assuming that's how you say it, P-A-R-C-L, Parcel Labs. Only about 140 entities meet this bill's threshold of 350 plus homes. Together, those firms own roughly 530,000 single-family homes. Now, in case you're wondering what percentage that is of the overall stock in the U.S., 0.59%. So, not a huge amount. But certain areas can be hit harder than others. For example, Atlanta, more than 1 in 10 homes now account for over a quarter of activity listings in some zip codes. So you are seeing, in some areas, more activity from these corporate landlords. However, because of higher rates, prices that have remained high, they're not really increasing by a ton anymore. But they've stayed high, and borrowing costs are high, and fixing things at homes and labor, and it's expensive. All of a sudden, a lot of institutional investors are getting out of the game. In fact, they note that large institutional investors have already become net sellers. So they're already selling more homes than they're buying right now. And so it's sort of like, I don't know if it was really ever a huge issue outside of some areas where you saw more activity, but it doesn't seem to be one now. And so, like I said, I don't really care about that, but I just thought it was, everyone's like, oh man, this is going to be great. Corporations are no longer going to be competing with, single families to buy a home. And it's like, well, it just really wasn't that big of an issue. I don't think at all. I think it was other single families other families who were bidding against other families for that single family home. And they had more money than that other family. Because remember, a corporation's not going to get into a bidding war. A person who's going to live in a house will overpay for it. An investor will not. So whenever you hear stories about people overpaying for homes and those are corporations. Like, they're pretty strict. They know exactly what they got to buy that house for, what it's going to cash flow, and they're not going to pay over that. And so there's a lot of myths out there, and a lot of it's the doomers on the internet, blaming corporations for everything. So, but Trump canceled the signing. Did I say that? I don't even know if I did. He canceled the signing. He was supposed to sign because he believes that the SAVE Act, which deals with voting laws, which also the federal government really doesn't have a huge part in elections either. He thinks that's more important, and we need to get that passed, so he's not going to sign this. Now, I believe if he waits 2 weeks, so if Congress sends it to his desk, which they might not because they are controlled by Republicans, and they might want to, I'm not sure what Trump's goal is. If his goal is just to have the bill pass even without him and make sort of a protest, because the reason they're not voting on the SAVE Act, they don't have the votes. And so maybe if he's just doing this to bring attention to the bill, but he really wants the bill to move forward in 2 weeks, if it gets sent to his desk and he doesn't veto it, then it becomes law. But maybe they won't send it to his desk to help him out, put more pressure on the holdout votes. But I'm not sure. I mean, it looks like now would be a good time to get kind of a victory heading into or in an election year. But I'm not sure what he's going to do. But as of 3:10, he has not signed the bill or made any argument that he is. So we will see what happens there. Like I said, it'll be a good first step, but it's by no means a sort of cure-all with regards to solving some of our problems with housing, higher prices, low inventory, things like that. And obviously the areas that are having that problem, like Wilmington. All right, speaking of homes, new home sales, we did actually get some data. We finally got a report this week. We got a report. New home sales fell a lot. I think they're supposed to rise by like 2.5%. They fell almost 7%. Or I'm sorry, over 7%, 7.3%. Lowest level since January. So not good news for new home sales. Seasonally adjusted estimate of new houses for sale was 496,000. That was above April, not surprisingly, because we had fewer sales, so you're more than likely going to have higher inventory. That represents a supply of 10.3 months at the current sales rate. That is almost 11% above where we were in April and is 6% above where we were last year. In fact, this is the highest level since July 2022. That was right when things started to slow down, when rates popped up. So some trouble in the new home sales market. And then because we are in the South, I thought I'd look at Southern data. 350 homes down from 350,000, down or the lowest level since January, just like sort of the national numbers. So not good. So, I mean, it was a great day for rates. Like I said, great day for rates. Rates falling almost double digits. Always love to see that. 10 years now at the lowest level. I mean, if it eclipses 4.4, which it's like right on the cusp of, that will be the lowest rate since the beginning of May. Yep, that was when we rose above 4.4 and stayed there. So, good day for rates. Not a good day for Bitcoin or some equities. Or what was the other thing? Oh, housing. New home sales. So, mixed day. But, all right. Sorry, the show's a little chaotic today. It happens. Life gets in the way. But I got the podcast done. That was what the whole goal was. All right, you guys enjoy your Thursday. We'll be back here Friday for a much more structured edition of Wilmington Mortgage. And remember, as always, do not wait to buy real estate. You buy real estate and wait.